What's up with all the lockdowns going on and the coronavirus? This is Thor Sandalwood, and we're going to do an update video because what the heck is going on? I feel like we're watching a Hollywood script right now. This is so bizarre. Everybody's on lockdown. The US is almost completely on lockdown. The United Kingdom's on lockdown. And then they just announced that India is already on lockdown for the next 3 weeks. So what is going on? This is so bizarre when you think about it. So when I study the astrology and what happened, we noticed that Saturn, it entered the sign of Capricorn back on January 24th of 2020. And I remember that was right about the time that we started hearing these reports of this virus in Wuhan, China. And then February, we saw it pick up. And then right now, at the end of March, as I make this video, it is really starting to pick up in the United States. It's already been in Europe. Now the United States is seeing a lot of cases and also, unfortunately, a lot of deaths as well from this thing. So first off, you got to remember Capricorn is ruled by the planet Saturn. So Saturn transiting Capricorn, it's transiting its own sign, which is very strong. But Capricorn, think of it as Saturn is kind of represents the masses. It represents the government. It represents big institutions. But Saturn also represents heavy karma. So we see Saturn entering Capricorn and there's a virus. Okay, and it's affecting a lot of people, the masses. And what's Saturn's response? Saturn's response was very slow to the virus, if you notice. We knew about the virus coming month or two ago. And we saw the government was very slow about responding, especially in the United States. Very slow about responding to this outbreak that's happening. And that's just the typical response of Saturn. Saturn's very slow. Saturn doesn't like change. So Saturn's like the old man that doesn't like things to be changed, wants the status quo. And now what do we see how the government's responding to the virus? It's responding in Saturn-like ways. What does Saturn do? It puts everybody on lockdown. It tries to restrict. It tries to slow down things. So he's putting everybody on lockdown, isolation. That's what we're experiencing right now, this lockdown and isolation. Now, the issue I'm seeing now is that we have Mars that entered Capricorn. On March 22nd, Mars entered Capricorn, and that was kind of like enter the new issue. Because if you guys know astrology, Saturn and Mars are not friends at all. Mars represents young people. Mars represents pioneers, fast, quick. Mars can also represent those rebellious people, rebellions. It makes me think of like a punk rocker, someone with an attitude walking around. That's Mars. Saturn is the old guard, people in their nice suits dressed up to go work on Wall Street, where Mars is more of like the ambitious young person. So Mars entered the fray, okay? We also have Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. Pluto is the planet of revolutions, of change, of massive changes happening, okay? On March 31st, the big issue is going to be Saturn and Mars are both in Capricorn, and they're going to conjoin. So that means they're right at the same degree in Capricorn. This, I believe, is going to trigger a lot of the events that are going to happen here in April. So just so you guys know, April is the maximum danger, maximum alert month. The first about 3 weeks of April, we're going to be in the danger zone with this whole virus. And even the virus, it's a lot more than just this virus, okay? It's also this economic fallout that we're seeing happen. We saw the stock market fall almost as much and as fast within a week or two as like what happened in 1929, Great Depression. So we are in very dangerous waters, and the government's trying to respond with this big $2 trillion stimulus package where people are going to get these $1,200 checks, Americans in the United States. So right now, we're seeing Saturn is like the old guard. It's the things that used to be, okay? Saturn already crossed Pluto. Pluto's already in the sign of Capricorn. So we know the government's going through a lot of changes right now. All the institutions are going through lots of changes. But now we have Mars entering. Mars is like the innovators, the pioneers, the people that change things. Mars, unfortunately, can represent criminal groups. And that's what I'm really nervous about for the month of April, is that as people stay longer and longer on lockdown, a lot of people are not used to being inside their houses. They're not used to this monastic way of life, of staying in your house, being at peace, meditating, taking this time as a time to reflect. Most people are trying to keep themselves constantly busy by going outside, going working, going in social events and things like that. So there's a lot of people, they're going to have a lot of mental anguish, a lot of problems right now. So the issue I'm seeing is there could be civil unrest. There could be riots happening in the next few weeks if we stay on lockdown for this whole month of April, guys. This is not good, okay? What I see happening though, in the bigger scheme of things with this whole lockdown, changes in the government, the bailouts, everything, is I see that, you know, if you guys remember, Rahu has been transiting Ardra and Ketu's been transiting the nakshatra of Mula. So Ardra, the nakshatra of Ardra, is really about old things dissolving, and usually through conflict, through things being destroyed. Ardra is the god of storms. So this is the big storm we're in. We're in the hurricane right now, where we're watching things that I have never seen the country or the world like this since 9/11. And it's the same thing that's happened, the same astrological transits happening as what happened during 9/11. So we're seeing this crazy change, but it's dissolving these old things, these old worn out things that are not working for us anymore. So there's tremendous opportunity with this time right now. And this is the time where we're going to see lots of people rise. A lot of politicians are going to make their rise. One person that I'm keeping my eye on is two people, actually. First person is the governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo. You see him. He's really on the rise right now. Second person is Gavin Newsom, governor of California. Now they appear to be taking charge of this crisis and making decisions. And I haven't found a birth time on Andrew Cuomo, but he's somebody that we got to keep an eye on because he's on the quick rise right now. So this is going to be the time, this is the time of crisis we're in. This is the time where winners and losers are going to show up. This is the make it or break it time for Trump. And I still cannot say for certain with this whole Biden and Trump match happening, with the election in November, what's going to happen. We have to kind of watch these events play out, because right now it's not looking very good for Trump. He said he had the best economy ever, the best economy of the history of the world. And now we had 3 million unemployment claims last week. That's really bad. The highest number of unemployment claims for, I think it broke the record. In 1 week, 3 million unemployment claims. So that cannot be good for an economy at all. But we don't know. Is this stimulus package going to be able to recover, reboot things? So that's what we're hoping for. Pluto in the sign of Capricorn means permanent change, permanent revolution. Okay, so the results of what's happening right now. And we're going to see these events are just going to keep happening. The next 2 years, there's going to be big changes in everything in your life. And now what do we see? You guys remember my video on Andrew Yang when I talked about was this need of, in the future, we're probably going to need this UBI, which is Universal Basic Income, because the jobs are going to be taken over by either AI or robotics. Robots are going to be able to do most of our jobs. And look, what is the $1,200 stimulus payment? They're sending a check to all these U.S. taxpayers and whatnot. This is an early prototype of UBI, the Universal Basic Income. This might be almost a test balloon of it. And I never thought it was going to happen during Donald Trump, but you know, if the economy keeps going down, and having this destruction, this controlled somewhat demolition of the economy, we might have to be switching to really radical ideas of things people just never thought of a year ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, of this universal basic income. People might need these UBI just to survive if this economy goes south. This is a very scary time. And with Saturn transiting Capricorn, the government's going to be very busy this whole next 2.5 year transit through Capricorn. The government's going to be trying to contain the outbreak, contain the disease, contain the financial problems, contain the debt, contain the people even. It's going to try to contain civil unrest. With the Mars transiting Capricorn right now, and Mars is going to be transiting Capricorn all the way until May 4th. So this is the maximum time of there could be civil unrest. People locked in their houses, they can't handle it anymore. People are getting that cabin fever. And so we got to be on the watch out. So I would recommend to all my viewers, stay at home as much as you can. Make sure you're stocked up on food, water, different things, because I see definite civil unrest kind of issues happening for the month of April, because people are going to get stirred up a little bit and people can't handle this lockdown. For my more enlightened viewers, this is really a time of spirituality. The universe is giving a lot of people the opportunity to meditate, to seek their higher guides, to seek source, the source of everything, to really go inside and find that deep, tranquil lake of peace that exists in your heart. That is the time we're in right now. But a lot of people, they're not ready for that. They're not ready for that kind of thing. And the changes right now, they're happening so fast. I just read a report on CNBC that there could be 30 to 35% unemployment in the United States. We haven't seen that since the Great Depression. So what I'm seeing as Saturn, I'm calling it the government, transits Capricorn, we're going to see a lot of programs happening because the government is going to be doing its thing to try to stabilize everything. We're going to see things like Franklin Delano Roosevelt show up. The government's going to be trying to stabilize all these things. We're going to see big government's programs, big government works programs. It's going to be all these kind of big government things happening because the government is really the only thing that can respond to this kind of crisis. It's the only thing big enough to deal with this. What I'm going to suggest to everybody, and I'm going to sell this to you guys, is a mass meditation that's being organized by this group called Mass Meditations on April 4th and April 5th, depending in what time zone you live around the globe. So I'm inviting all of you to take place in this mass meditation to basically smooth out everything that's happening so that we can get over this coronavirus very quickly. So I'm inviting you all to take place. I'm going to put the link down below for the mass meditation. It's going to be a different time for every time zone, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to stimulate that mass meditation effect of, it's been shown in different studies that if you get a lot of people meditating all at once, it has an effect on reducing problems around the world because we're part of this mass consciousness grid. So we're all connected through our mass consciousness. And so that's what we're trying to do with this mass meditation, is we're trying to heal the earth, heal this coronavirus outbreak. Because it's really up to us as people to take action on this thing. We can't just let these events just happen. We're taking our spiritual action. Our spiritual action is some of the most important action we can take on this thing. So I'll be posting that link down below. Guys, I see that the coronavirus, this is my interpretation of the data, is Rahu's going to be leaving Ardra on April 22nd. And then Mars leaves Capricorn on May 4th. I believe that by May, about May or June, during that time period, I believe we're going to see this virus outbreak start to reduce. So all the action that we're taking right now is going to actually flatten the curve, so to speak. And also we in the northern hemisphere, we're entering summer. And I believe, that's my personal belief, is that it's going to reduce this coronavirus spread. But also, I just see that with Rahu leaving Ardra and Mars being out of there, most of the coronavirus stuff is going to be, I believe, dissipating. Now, does that mean that our political landscape and our economic landscape is not permanently altered? No. I don't think we're going back to the way things used to be. So there's going to be lots of changes all the way through the next 6 months, all the way to election day. And I'm going to be doing more videos to keep you guys updated about these events during the summer, during September, especially September. We're going to look at when Rahu changes signs, when Rahu goes into Taurus, because Rahu goes backwards. We're going to go from Gemini to Taurus. Okay, we're going to go back with Rahu. So that's going to be a game changer too during September. And it's going to change, it's going to affect the world, and it's going to affect your individual karmas as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys have an opinion or want to comment or tell me what's going on, what do you think about this? Am I over exaggerating, or is it going to be worse than what I say? Comment down below. I'd appreciate seeing your guys' comments. If you enjoy this video, please hit like and also subscribe to my channel for more updates and videos and more analysis of people's charts. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.